Okay, wonderful. Namaste and Suprabhat. We will begin today's class with chanting the Gita Dhyana Shloka. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandanami Bhagavad-gite Bhavatveshini Namostu te Vyasa-vishala-buddhe Pullara-vindayata-patra-netra Yena tvaya Bharata-taila-purnaha Prajvalito gnanamaya-pradipaha Prapanna-parijataya Totra-vetraika-manaye Gnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita-mriduduhe namaha Sarvopanishado gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayathrata Jala Gandharani Lotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula अश्वत्थाम घोर मकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थकण्ठोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः हरिः ओम. We will begin with a few chants for Surya Bhagwan. Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Ravaye Namaha, Om Suryaya Namaha, Om Bhanave Namaha. All of these are just different names of Surya Bhagwan. Today we will be beginning with the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, and many of you already know. We just want to go over what is the significance of learning the Bhagavad Gita and why we should be committed in the study of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, as you all know, is an Upadesha from Bhagwan Sri Krishna to Arjuna and has been written by sage Vyasa. We are not reading or just presenting a book here or just any other book. We are opening the door to a timeless teaching that has transformed many lives for millennia. And this is the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the question comes to us, why should we invest our time in this ancient text, and why should we take out time and commit to this learning and the teaching? Because it addresses the eternal human problem. Every person, everywhere, at some point feels helpless, confused, and disenchanted with life. The Gita begins with Arjuna in exactly that state. So you can relate to him immediately. It is not a history lesson, but it is a mirror of our own inner struggle. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Shastras, the Vedas, and the Upanishads put together. The Gita is called the cream of Vedic philosophy. If we have understood the Gita, we have understood all that is to be understood through our Shastras. It is an efficient and yet a complete package. It is both Dharma Shastra, Yoga Shastra, as well as Moksha Shastra, which is a guide for living, guide for conducting ourselves in this world, and a guide for liberation. That means it helps us navigate daily challenges and answers our deepest existential questions about who we really are and what is our purpose here in life. No other text does both so powerfully and so well. The message of the Gita is ageless, it's universal, and hence it's timeless. The problems of restlessness, dissatisfaction, and meaninglessness are not new. The Gita's philosophy provides guidance that is as relevant today as it has been through the ages. The greatness of the Gita is not just in reading its words, but in living those words every single day. The Gita's teaching is universal because every human seeks fulfillment and freedom from feeling limited. So, the goal of the Gita and the teaching of the Gita and all our Shastras is the freedom from feeling a limited person, because we are truly the manifestation of unlimited. We are Sat Chit Ananda. And Gita is also the essence of all the Shastras. Bhagwan Krishna has taken this essence of all the scriptures and given it in the form of this wonderful poem called the Gita. This one text is sufficient for us to comprehensively study and understand the entire body of our scriptural literature. It reveals the core of our ancient culture. By studying it, we understand what is our religious culture, what is Vedic culture, what is Bhagavan centered living, and the principles behind every religious practice that we perform. So it is compulsory for everyone, especially every Indian and Hindu, and it's not optional. Every person must compulsorily study the Bhagavad Gita at least once in their lifetime, it's advised. Then the study must be thorough and systematic, not a casual reading, but we must go verse by verse in depth with discipline and commitment. So we continue these classes every Sunday at the same time. It is for everyone, regardless of their background, whether you're a spiritual seeker, a religious person, or a materialistic person. The study is required because we need to understand our ancient culture and our Dharma Bhubi, our motherland. Spiritual culture alone gives us the fullness, the contentment, and the satisfaction in life. So, the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is to ask the question on a daily basis: is my life in keeping with the teaching of the Gita? This, what would Krishna have done? What would Arjuna have done? These are the questions that we need to answer as we go through our daily lives. This is an introduction that I just went through. Now we will begin with the Dhyana Shlokas. So today, as we read the Dhyana Shlokas, it is providing reverence and namaskar to various sages and rishis through this Dhyana Shloka, and it explains starting with Vyasa. So, this is a scriptural literature and is also known as Itihasa, that is partially based on history. So, historical events are taken, actual events are taken in the Bhagavad Gita, and they are modified to some extent and provided in this form of the Bhagavad Gita. And this is called Itihasa. Thus, it happened. As you all know, that's the meaning of Itihas. And as you all know, there are more than 1 lakh verses, 100,000 verses in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is part of the Mahabharata. And Mahabharata is compared to a lotus, just as a lotus is very, very attractive because of its beauty and because of its fragrance. So, Bhagavad Gita is compared to this lotus. Bharata Pankajam, what it says, means the Mahabharatam lotus be the source of happiness to me, the source of contentment, the source of knowing that we are the whole, the complete. We don't need anything externally or internally to make us complete. This concept and thought needs to be cultivated on a daily basis. Every time we have the opposite thoughts or we go through ups and downs in life, that we are complete. We don't need anything extra to make us complete, especially from the external world. Some people tell us that the Mahabharata should not be studied, you may have heard, and you should not keep the Mahabharata at home because it is dealing with a family quarrel. And if you read about a family quarrel, there may be a quarrel in your family also. But this is a very big misconception. It is not true at all. Mahabharata and the study of the Gita is an auspicious thing for us. It should give us joy, it should give us understanding, and should give us an internal look into who we are, how this Jiva connects to the Jagat, and how we see vision of the concept of Bhagavan or Ishvara. And there are various sages that we do pranams to in the Mahabharata, including Vyasa, who's the composer of the Mahabharata, sage Vyasa, Rishi Muni Vyasa. So it begins with Om Parthaya Pratibodhidam. Partha is Arjuna. The other name for Arjuna is Partha. And we are saying in this verse, O Mother Bhagavad Gita, I constantly meditate upon you, which was taught to Arjuna by Lord Narayana himself, which was composed by Vyasacharya, the ancient sage, in the middle of the Mahabharata, which consists of 18 chapters, which showers the ambrosial wisdom of non-duality, which is divine and which is the enemy of samsara. That is the ups and downs of life. Some days we may feel elated, and some days we may feel right at the bottom. But the goal of studying the Bhagavad Gita is to obtain samatvam, equanimity, so that we have a balance in life, not the very high of highs and not the very low of lows. So, through the highs and lows of our daily life and living and this samsara, we can stay steadfast in the fact that these are not going to bring us down as much, nor are we going to be riding high up in the sky with elation when things go our way, when things are, aligned with what we are expecting. So, Swamiji tells us that expectation comes in 4 different forms. The first one is when you expect a certain result and you achieve it in totality. The second one is when you are expecting a result, but you totally miss it and you don't get any of it at all. Though you've put in hard work, hard effort, full commitment, and with Bhagavan in mind, you have done the work, but still your results end up to nothing at all. And the third one is your results are greater than what you expected. If you expected something small, you got lot more. And the fifth one is less than what you expected. So it's equal to, greater than, less than, or not at all. Nothing at all. You miss the whole bus and you have to put in your effort all over again. So these are the four outcomes of any work that we do and any effort that we put in. So we must understand that there are forces outside of our control. So in the case of receiving what we put in, we may think that, oh, we put in all our effort and hence we got our result. But we must always remember that there is a factor, that is grace, that is Bhagavan's kripa, that is the blessing that we receive, that there are seen and unseen forces that act upon everything in life, and we must recognize the fact that there are some forces that are not in our favor when things don't go our way, and that we must put in our effort and try all over again. Then move on. These are the four outcomes of any effort that we put in. Sarvopanishado Gavo. All the Upanishads are the cows. Krishna is the milker. Arjuna is the calf. The pure-minded is the enjoyer of this milk, the supreme nectar of Gita, which is referred to here as the milk. So with a pure mind, let us begin to enjoy this Bhagavad Gita. That is what this Gita Dhyanam Shlokams are saying. Vyasa Namaskara. So the verse number 2 says Namaskara to Vyasa. Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. And what it really means. O Vyasacharya, with the vast knowledge, with eyes as large as the petals of a full-blown lotus, salutations be to you, by which you have lighted the lamp of wisdom, filled with the oil of the Mahabharata. So it is akin to a lamp that Vyasa is lighting within us, with the oil being the Mahabharata, making us ever lit forever, having this light in our minds forever. That is, and then Krishna Namaskara. Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraika Panaye. So, what does this shloka mean? Salutations to Lord Krishna, who is with Gnana Mudra, who is like a wish yielding tree for those who surrender to him, who has a whip in one hand and who has milked the nectar of the Gita. So, Gnana Mudra, that Bhagwan Krishna, who is providing all the Gyan to us. So, this is the Gyan Shastras that we are studying. Vasudeva Sutam Devam is a common shloka that we all recite in our daily prayers, where we say, I salute to Bhagwan Krishna, the world teacher, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of Kamsa and Chanura, the supreme bliss of Devaki. The battled river with Bhishma and Drona as the banks, with Jayatratha as the waters, and the kind of Gandhara as the blue lotus, with Shalya as the shark, with Kripa as the current, and with Karna as the high waves, with Ashwathama and Vikarna as terrible crocodiles, and with Duryodhana as the whirlpool, was indeed crossed over by the Pandavas. Lord Krishna was the ferryman who took the Pandavas across this battlefield. They are explaining the battlefield here. Mukam karoti vachalam. I salute to Bhagwan Krishna, who's the supreme Ananda, and whose grace makes the dumb eloquent and the cripple cross a mountain. Pangum langayate girim. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutoha. This is a prayer in many schools, and we used to recite it in our school as well, and I recite it every day. Hmm. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha. Salutation to Bhagwan Vishnu, whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and Vayu praise through divine hymns, whom the singers of Samaveda invoke through the Vedas with their limbs, Pada, Krama, and Upanishads, whom the wise see with a contemplative mind directed towards Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, and whose limit even Devas and Asuras do not know. So, this is a salutation to Bhagwan Vishnu. So, now we will be slowly beginning with chapter 1, and I have shared the link with you, and please take the time during the week to read through the introduction, this essence of the Gita, why we studied the Gita, all of this through the link that I have provided. This is Swami Paramarthanandaji's Gita classes, which is the Gita home study. He is a disciple of Swami Dayananda Saraswati as well as Swami Chinmayananda, and he conducts classes currently in Chennai. If you happen to visit Chennai, please make sure that you visit Swamiji and let him know that we are studying his classes. Okay. So, in the first chapter, they call upon the basic human problem. And this human problem is universal, irrespective of nationality, of religion, of caste, education, sex, age, no matter what ashrama we are in, the four ashramas, which I'll explain in just a bit, irrespective of all the superficial human differences, the basic problem of samsara is common across all cultures, across the entire world, and across the entire universe. And this doesn't belong to any particular time in history. This problem is a human problem at any time of history. And this was faced by Arjuna more than 5,000 years ago. And we are all facing, or we will face this in this century as well, even after 10,000 years. And as human beings survive, they will continue to have this problem of samsara. And the problem of samsara is nothing but the ups and downs of lives. Sometimes we are elated and sometimes we are saddened by what transpires in our lives, what other people tell us, what other people tell to us about us. And this is called the basic human problem of samsara. And so the first chapter covers this basic problem of samsara, which is the fundamental problem. And why should Vyasacharya describe samsara as the disease in the first chapter? Because the entire Gita Shastra happens to be a remedy for this universal disease. And since this is the universal teaching, it is not just limited to just the Hindus or just Indians or any particular religion. Anybody can read the Gita, and the goal is to understand the Gita and live the Gita on a daily basis. Apply the Gita, and the application of this teaching is key to the learning of the Gita. And let me cover the four samsaras, ashramas that we live in. So we start with Bala, that is our studies and our scriptural studies. The studies in the ancient days only referred to as the scriptural studies, and the materialistic studies would be included in the study of the scriptures. So our study of the scriptures was not separate from what we call, education today. It was all intertwined. All the knowledge, Indic knowledge systems, the various knowledge systems about science, about metallurgy, about mathematics, about um, medicine, about human body, about Ayurveda, our yoga shastras were all taught in the Gurukula, that included both the materialistic part of life and living as well as the scriptural part of our Vedas, about our Bhagavad Gita, our Upanishads, and our Vedantas. So all this was included in the Gurukula teaching, but now we have, lost that lineage. It is being revived in India at a fast pace, thanks to the few Gurukulas that have survived and many of the teachers of our Shastras who have um, taken on the effort of reviving this Gurukula system of teaching, where they teach the Shastras to young Shishus who learn. So the four ashramas are typically divided into approximately 25 years of each of our lives. So the student life and the grahasti life, and then um, vanaprastha, and then sannyasa. So grahasti is the life of the householder, and vanaprastha is the life of slowly learning to disassociate from this world in terms of the materialistic things that we were seeking, and that was required to run the life of a grihastha. So slowly we detach from that. It is not that we are free from desires or we have no longer desires. So that is not the understanding of the Gita or the Vedas for us. So the desires have to be cultivated upon, and the desire to learn the Shastras, the desire to live in accordance with our dharma is held the highest and the foremost. And then sannyas ashrama, of course, which few of us embark upon. But vanaprastha is an important ashrama. It doesn't really technically mean that we should be in a forest, but we must be living our life as though we can live with and without the luxuries and the things um, that we are so used to. So that is the focus, uh, and we have more time in our vanaprastha ashrama to study the scriptures, and it's definitely something that everybody should take upon the study of the strict scriptures. I think we will conclude in a little bit. In the first chapter, the essence of the shlokas means, as long as this body is free from disease and decrepitude, as long as senility is far off, as long as the powers of the senses are unaffected and life is not decaying, so long a wise person should put forth mighty effort and exertion for the sake of their supreme good. And when the house is on fire, what avails setting about digging a well? So it's telling us that the first chapter starts by saying that if we have health and a sound body and mind, we must uh, refer to the Gita and embark on the study of this Gita, not, when um, not in an emergency type situation. We should not start studying the Gita. We should start studying the Gita when we have a calm sense of mind and body, and begin the study of the Gita. So this is an apt time for all of us to start the study of the Gita, not when tragedy strikes us or to solve a problem, but we should already have this at the back of our minds, and um, as an anchor for us in how we live our daily life, and be an example for those of us who are the coming generation. And as you all know, the Guru Shishya Parampara and the question answer Parampara is the setting of the Gita. All or most of our scriptures are in question answer form. It is not a mandate, it is not a commandment, and it is not an absolute. The teaching is in accordance with understanding. The teaching is logical, the teaching is rational, and that which falls in place when we really listen to our gurus who explain our shastras, and Bhagavad Gita being the primary and most well put together essence of the entire Vedas. So typically, Bhagavad Gita needs to be studied through a guru, but in this day and age, it is worthy of time to read the Bhagavad Gita and its explanations that have been already recorded for us through PDF forms, through videos, and through lectures and talks. So Arjuna refers to Krishna here and he says, I am very confused. Whenever confusion has come, attachment is lingering somewhere. Suppose we are working somewhere, we are head of some institution or company, then somebody comes sick or a report comes in, immediately we see the laws. According to the laws, so what are the uh, repercussions of making these mistakes? The boss decides, and then somebody comes and lets us know that this is the. So the same kind of conflict Arjuna goes through. Should I be, you know, encouraging this conflict with my very cousin, my first cousin? Should I do this or should I not? Is the first question that comes to his mind. And he goes through different emotions and and shows at the end that he is helpless and he surrenders to Lord Krishna and he says, you please help me with this teaching. Let me discover what I should be doing at this juncture. And he poses different questions to Krishna. And as you all know, in this samvada between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna doesn't come out and give him, okay, here are the 10 things you must do. Duryodhana has been this way, and hence you need to do this in order to protect Dharma. That is not the teaching. The teaching is over these 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and slowly and surely, the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagwan Sri Krishna opens the eyes of Arjuna so that he can see for himself what, and the decision that he makes is up to Arjuna. Krishna just gives him the outline and the qualifications and what he could be doing in circumstances such as this, but he never really gives him a template or doesn't tell him absolutely that this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. So thus our teachings are such that we imbibe from the teaching and we learn from this teaching, but all the responsibility is on us to take the next step in terms of how we conduct our lives in accordance with the dharma. In the next class, we will see more details exactly on the definition of dharma and the despondency of Arjuna. More on that in our next class. I will open up the class now for question and answers. Sadhna, would you like to add a few words?
No, thanks, Shobha. I think this you really have put everything well, very well. And one thing which I really liked was how you described all the various characters of the Mahabharata in connecting them to the way all the animals, and we are constantly faced with these situations, and how when you are totally surrendered to the God, he starts guiding you. So that was one thing which I think all of us face. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Shobha, for giving your time and helping us to understand. And
Welcome,
thanks to the
welcome.
Guruji. Thanks to Guruji also, who has put this course as a home study for all of us, so that we can take the time out and we it gives a pause to we are in a mad rush and we are thinking about everything else, but silently we are not giving time to reflect on things and how we should respond to situations. We are just
Mhm.
acting and just as the situation comes, but once we reflect on things silently, then it gives us a better path. And I think that is the true meaning of spirituality.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Hmm.
this vast knowledge of um, the Vedas and our scriptures, which is a guidance for everyday life and living, this vision as it unfolds, we will see that we are so much more at peace with our lives, with the people around us, our relationships. And like you said, um, everything that we wish for will come true once we have our Shraddha and Bhakti in Bhagwan. So this teaching is key and in essence, right, to practice, to put to practice on a daily basis. So as we unfold the Bhagavad Gita, we will come upon these little nuggets of information that we can keep in mind. I will summarize all of this as well in a short PowerPoint so that later down the line we'll have these salient points to refer to as well. So what we cover in class, I will summarize and put it in a PowerPoint and
Hmm.
share with each of you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm. Thank you for joining. And should we do the Shanti Mantra sadhana?
Yeah, we can do that. One thing, what I was thinking in the when we start, we can when everybody gradually puts in, so we can end, with five conscious breaths. We should have done this earlier, but since people join, later, so
Mm-hmm.
that way,
Mm-hmm.
it gives us the focus to completely, it calms the mind, and we are in a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we can do now about five deep breaths right from the stomach up till the nostril, and exhaling from the nostril, and then we can do the Shanti mantra. So that way
Okay.
we can develop this practice every time we start our study.
Okay. We'll do that. Yeah. Today we'll do it at the end of class. From next time onwards, we will begin the class with these five deep breaths. Mentally, you can chant Om.
Hmm.
Okay. So inhale deeply. Exhale slowly and deliberately. Inhale. Exhale, chanting Om mentally. Inhale deeply. Exhale, chanting Om mentally. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. Ever so slowly and gently and completely. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ